Tough conversations can pop up anywhere, whether it's in the sword alley, the pickup cab, or over supper at the kitchen table. And let's be honest, navigating those talks can leave everyone involved feeling frustrated, unheard, or stuck. That's why I created a free guide, Handling Hard Conversations, 3 Steps to Creating Space for Clarity, Connection, and Mutual Respect. In this quick and practical resource, you will learn how to pause and ground yourself before your emotions run wild, validate both yourself and others, building trust, and how to ask honest questions that lead to real connection. These 3 simple steps can help you communicate better and keep your relationships, whether it's with your family, your crew, or your spouse, strong and steady, even on the hard days. Download your free copy today and start moving more smoothly through those hard conversations with confidence. The link is in the show notes, so go grab it now. Here's to drawing good movement.
I'll carry you, you carry me, we'll help each other through it. Come on and say good movement draws good movement.
Welcome to Good Movement Draws Good Movement, the podcast where farmers, ranchers, and rural folks can grow relationally through awareness, understanding, and effective communication. Hey, it's T. I'm your host, and I, along with my guests, will be covering topics related to drawing good movement. Things like self and social awareness, brain science, positive psychology, extending grace, and so much more. We'll share tools that can help you understand why you are the way you are, why others are the way they are, and how you can use that to step out of self-told lies with grace and compassion to draw good movement in conversations, relationships, and life in rural America. Let's go draw good movement. Welcome back to the Good Movement Draws Good Movement podcast. Every emotion has a purpose, and I think that is something that is really misunderstood. But every emotion has a purpose. It's what we do with it that can hurt or heal. I think in our rural culture, actually, honestly, just our human culture as a whole, we tend to label emotions as good or bad. I mean, I grew up thinking that some feelings were better and more acceptable to show, and some needed shoved way down deep. And I really don't think that line of thought is all that uncommon. I recently shared a video on TikTok, and the text on the video said, "In case no one told you, the validity of your feelings is not diminished by whether or not they make logical sense to you or anyone else." And someone commented on that video asking me, if it's not logical, wouldn't you say the feeling isn't valid and that you need to rethink your reaction? And my response was, I wouldn't say a feeling is invalid because we don't get to choose our feelings. Feelings are information. They show up before logic. But the reason that people maybe think that if a feeling isn't logical, that it's not valid is because we place so much emphasis on logic and thinking. Our logical thinking brains can do. But in reality, feelings come first into our brain. Our right brain is really fast and it takes in information and it is responsible for feeling. And then it travels over to our left brain. And that's where logic lives. And that's where we can decide what to do with it. So again, even if it doesn't seem logical, it doesn't invalidate the feeling. It's like when your cattle are spooked at something and you can't see it. Their reaction feels illogical to us, but to them, the information is real. And just because we don't see it doesn't mean it's invalid. I mean, they have way more heightened senses than we do, so they can see things we can't. But just because we don't understand it, again, does not make it invalid. So the purpose of emotions, let's talk about that for a minute. I mean, we've talked about anger here on the podcast recently, and we've talked about emotions here at various times on the podcast, but anger points to crossed boundaries or injustice. Fear alerts us to danger, whether that's real or perceived. Sadness signals loss. helps us slow down and honor what matters if we're paying attention to it and recognizing it as valid and not shoving it way down. Joy draws us closer to people and experiences that fill us up, that fill our cup, that nourish us. Emotions are signals, they are information. So when I ignore what a cow is telling me through her body language, I miss critical information. If I ignore that, I miss the fact that she's feeling too much pressure. And if I keep pushing on her, she's going to either come at me or run way, way off. And it's the same with our feelings. If we ignore the feelings that we have in our bodies, we are missing critical information. So, again, a feeling is automatic, not chosen, and always valid. Thoughts help us interpret our feelings or the information that we're taking in, like physical information, what we see, things that we actually physically feel, like, touching sandpaper, your thought is, whoa, that's rough. And action is what we do with it. So while I wouldn't say a feeling is invalid, I would rethink a reaction after I've taken time to sit with and learn from the feeling. The danger isn't in the emotion itself, it's our response to it. So, for example, anger. We hurt people when we lash out, we choose violence, we're aggressive. Or we can choose to use our anger for healing by naming the boundary and acting with clarity. Fear can look like paralysis or avoidance or fleeing. Or if we're learning from it, we can use it for preparation and awareness. Sadness can look like numbing and shutting down, or it can look like healthy grieving and asking for support. So here are some practical tools to actually use emotions and have them help you discern what action to take. So first, pause and name. When a strong emotion hits, maybe it doesn't even have to be strong. When an emotion hits, pause and acknowledge. I'm feeling, fill in the blank with what emotion you're feeling. Then sit with it and give it some space, like ruminate on it before deciding what to do. Like let the feeling simmer. And then separate the feeling from action. So validate the emotion without automatically acting on it. And then rethink the reaction. Ask, is my next step going to hurt or heal? If I want to use this emotion for healing, what's the next right step? So again, there's no such thing as a bad emotion. Every feeling is valid, whether it makes sense to you or not. Every single emotion has a purpose. It's what you do with it that matters. And at the core of my one-on-one good movement guidance is learning to work with emotions instead of against them. So this stuff that we've talked about in this podcast episode, we dig even deeper into that if you choose to work with me one-on-one. And I want to leave you this week with a practice. It's a simple one. So when a feeling shows up that doesn't make sense, pause and remind yourself, valid, even if it's not logical. Then ask what that feeling is trying to tell you before you react, respond, take action. And with that, until next time, draw good movement. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful for you. If you found value in this episode, I'd love for you to share with others who might also benefit from tuning in. Share by word of mouth, send it in a text, take a screenshot and post it on social media, or share however you prefer. And if you haven't already, hit the follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, draw good movement.